Australia, 2024. As we begin to ramp up to the start of the third Grand Prix of the season, I thought it'd be a fun idea to look back at the Grand Prix that have come before. What new fans would call exciting and thrilling, an older fan would call reckless and idiotic, and what I'd call the silliest Grand Prix that has ever happened in recent memory. This is Race Rewind, the 2023 Australian Grand Prix. So, before deep diving into the shitstorm of the race itself, we should first look into the context behind this race. 2023 had begun with the first two wins being taken by the Flying Dutchman of Max Verstappen in Bahrain and the highly regarded, at the time, Sergio Perez in Saudi Arabia, with both wins being a dominant display of Red Bull's speed coming into this weekend, which is a bit too much like this weekend, but minus Perez, as he isn't really highly regarded now, is he? The racing on the streets of Melbourne haven't exactly been known for its high-speed, thrilling racing, but with the changes to the track layout in 2022, the circuit has seen a small upturn in race excitement. This, plus the extra DRS zone being added to the track, because we just needed a bigger DRS train I suppose, we come into the Grand Prix with mixed hopes. Now, I just want to get this out of the way. I was at this Grand Prix, and I have a tattoo to prove it, and I'm not saying this Grand Prix became what it was because I was there, but I think it would be fair to say that I should have seen this coming. So we head into FP1, and Max Verstappen spun. What? But he still finished on the top of the timing sheets. Okay then. As Max continued confusing the fans, Perez began what would later be seen as the beginning of the end, as he struggled with the car sliding off to the gravel at turn 3. The top two Team Red Bulls weren't the only RB cars spinning, as Yuki Tsunoda decided to Tokyo drift his AlphaTauri through the T1 gravel track. Magnussen joined him by going off at turn 4, probably making sure that his tyres weren't going to come off. Again. Mercedes were still trying out the zero pod design at the time, with both drivers still hating the car. Oh, if only they knew what Adrian Newey was cooking up back at Milton Keynes. The track also started having DPS problems, a sign to come for the Alpines, with multiple drivers getting held up on fast laps, as Logan Sargent Williams gave up the will to live and parked it, bringing out the red flag, which will not be the last time we see this. On to FP2, where Perez started getting caught up in Melbourne traffic, as the Melbourne heavens opened and the rain began to fall, as Lance Stroll continued the gravel trap party by sliding and spinning into and out of the gravel trap. His teammate topped the session, Alonso showing again why his crazy move to Aston Martin was seeming to be the right choice. FP3 saw Perez off the track at turn 4, but this time going off at the second to last corner and the first corner as well, with Leclerc and Zhou joining him at turn 1, with Zhou trying to imitate Bottas by spinning into the barrier. K-Mag had Nam flashbacks as he went straight on at the second to last corner, with Sainz joining him by sliding into the gravel trap. So heading into qualifying, everyone began to question if the drivers could keep it on the tarmac on a fast lap, or if he would see more drivers going nose first into the barriers. Wait a minute. Perez decided on his warm-up lap that the smartest way to warm up his tyres would be to lock up at turn 3, then get trapped in the gravel trap. With this, in no time Perez was joined by both Alfa Romeos of Bottas and Zhou, with both rookies of Sargent and the home hero Piastri just missing out on Q2. Q2 began with Norris going off at the Perez corner, as the commentators called it, leading him to being knocked out and being joined by the AlphaTauris, K-Mag and the Alpine of Ocon. So, onto the first runs of Q3, where Alonso was out first, with Alonso beating both Ferraris and Russell until Lewis Hamilton crossed the line and got past Fernando by 0.03 of a second. This wouldn't last long though, as Max crossed the line to get past Lewis by only 0.09 of a second. So, onto the final runs. It ended with two drivers breaking into the 1/16 second barrier, with the Mercedes of Russell being one of them. And who would have guessed who the other was? Well, of course, it was Max Verstappen, a whole 0.2 faster than anyone else. I guess we know what's going to happen this year then, eh? Now for the race itself. With the way the weekend was going, it looked like Max was going to lead the way into turn 1 and win the race by 20 seconds, with the Black Arrows looking like they could join him on the podium if Fernando didn't have his say. So the lights would go out, and Max would pull a Checo and get a slow start as Russell drag raced into turn 1 and got past into the lead. But Max's pain wasn't over yet, as Alonso, Hamilton and Sainz all looked for a way past the slow-moving Dutchman, and into turn 3, Lewis and Carlos used double team to confuse Max, as Lewis was able to get past and into second. And all this as Leclerc forgot that Stroll sees anything else on track as a target to hit, and Charles was sent spinning off into the beach of the gravel trap, ending the Ferrari driver's day early. The race continued on, with Albert Park Circuit beginning its usual act of the DRS train as the two Mercs helped each other out to stop Max from passing. In hindsight, Leclerc might have been lucky to get out of this Grand Prix early, as on lap 7, Alex Albon crashed out at turn 6, spraying gravel all over the track, and making Nico Hülkenberg shit his race suit with how close he got to destroy Williams. This of course brought out the safety car, leading to the lead driver of Russell pitting for hards. But then a red flag came out, meaning that without the restart, Hamilton would be all by himself, with Russell down the order and Max right up his gearbox. So, the drivers began their way around the circuit one last time, and because the best drivers in the world, and Stroll, can't drive slowly, a traffic jam almost caused the Haas to recreate Albon's crash. At the restart, Lewis got away well, as Max began to fight with Alonso to keep second place. Tsunoda, trying to save tyres I guess, led to him bunny hopping his car over an Alpine. The race finally began to calm down, as Lewis, without DRS, finally couldn't hold off the hard-charging Max as the Dutchman rocketed past into first. All eyes then moved to Russell, who was now slowly fighting his way back up to the front, again getting past Stroll and Gasly. But of course, all good things must come to an end, as Russell's Mercedes engine decided that it wanted to be a flamethrower and began to set itself on fire. After this, the race truly began to slow down, with Perez filling the void that Russell had left by slowly getting past cars each lap, with Sainz getting a quick pass in on Gasly as well, who had been sitting in P4 for a good part of the race, and was proving that his move to Alpine was right on. The laps slowly ticked over, with Max building a 20-second lead. Hamilton and Alonso head to tail lap after lap. Max went off, Lando got a... Wait a minute. What? So Max began experiencing the same problems that Perez was having during practice and quali, and the racing gods decided to throw us fans a bone, with Max's lead slowly getting smaller. And as Norris got past Hülkenberg for P8, K-Mag got sick of waiting for his team to not put his tyre on wrong, and decided to take it off himself. This made Bert Leinlander get back out on track, until the decision of all decisions was made, a red flag. Yes, a red flag. Maybe it was for the mess that was on the track, or maybe because of the fan that got hit with Magnussen's carbon fibre decided that his blood was going to be the new colour of the yellow flag, but all the cars pulled onto the grid for what should be the last time. It's lights out. Okay, what the bloody hell just happened? So, at the restart, Max got a good start, but Sainz in 4th decided it was a good idea to crash into his home hero Alonso and spin him around, and with this, all hell broke loose. Gasly goes wide, taking Perez with him. Perez cuts the grass as Gasly moves back onto the track, right in front of his teammate Ocon, with this French Civil War beginning. In solidarity, Stroll went off at turn 3, with Logan Sargent trying to do his best Ralf Schumacher impression, ramming De Vries off at turn 1, as the last red flag finally comes out. So, as the cars pull into the pit lane, multiple questions begin to arise. What time will the race restart? Will there be a lap of racing, or will he come to the line under safety car? Will the positions remain the same, meaning that Hülkenberg gets a podium, or will Stroll, as Sainz is under investigation for what happened at the restart? And what would you know, the order changes back to before the start of that lap, with Sainz getting a penalty. And as Sainz cries to his team over the radio, the cars slowly pull over the line to finish what has been the most crazy Grand Prix to have ever happened, with Max Verstappen in 1st, Lewis in 2nd, and Alonso in 3rd. And that was the 2023 Australian Grand Prix. A race filled to the brim with action and chaos, and all because Michael Matthew was there. So, what was my reason for making this video? Simple. To show that the thought of the race might be boring, or the track might not be made for the best racing. We have to remember that at any track, or at any time, shit can go down. I've been Connor, and this has been my new video type, Race Rewind. Please make sure to like and subscribe so I can keep making these videos. I've been Connor, signing out.